An entire aspen forest can be one organism. We'll talk about that and more fun aspen tree facts as we sketch this little stick. So let's just turn the page and get started. Good morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 in the morning on a, goodness, is it Tuesday? 5:30 in the morning on a Tuesday morning. 5:30 in the morning on Tuesday mornings is when I like to do a thing where I pull a random object from the Random Object Randomizer, a toy from the toy box, and I draw it, and we talk about it. And today's random object is a quaking aspen, an aspen tree. And the thing that I love most about aspen trees is they grow mostly from runners, from root suckers. They make a lot of seeds, they make a lot of pollen, they make a lot of seeds, but the seeds require such specific conditions to take root. Ground has to be warm and soft and moist, like my watercolors. And the ground is almost never perfect like that for the seeds to take root. And so instead, aspens shoot suckers out of their roots, runners. They have their roots will shoot a runner up out of the ground that will become another aspen tree. Will look like another aspen tree, when in reality it is the same tree. It is just a growth on the root of the same tree. And so when you look at an aspen tree forest, you may be looking at a single organism.
That's crazy.
Isn't it? That is my favorite fact about aspen trees, and I've known that. I read that sometime in the 6th or 7th grade, finding out that an aspen tree, when you start reading things like the Guinness Book of World Records, and you start talking about the largest organisms in the world, and you're thinking dinosaur, you're thinking blue whale. You can think of all kinds of things. It doesn't occur to you that the largest organism in the world might be a mushroom. That the largest organism in the world might be an aspen tree. That doesn't occur to you, and then you find something like that out, and your whole worldview changes. But wait a minute, what do you mean it's a tree? And it's not even a sequoia tree; it's an aspen tree. Sequoia trees look like they might be the largest organism in the world, just as a single tree, but they don't even come close. They don't even come close to this aspen tree.
Funny that it gives her that really with that glowing magical tree.
Which avatar? Because when I hear the word avatar, I think Aang the Airbender. I think I don't think the blue water people. By the way, good afternoon, Claudia. I hope you're having a fantastic day.
Rick's here too.
Oh, Rick's here? Oh, okay. Let's good morning, Rick and Pamela. You guys have your own button. Everybody has their own button. The blue. Okay. Full disclosure, I have not seen Avatar, the artificial world people. The premise kind of fell flat on me. And I know that it's a people think that it is a fantastic movie, and I should see it. I have not.
Since they have a magic tree.
In their made up computer world.
Yeah.
Yeah, the premise kind of fell flat on me. Of course, I love Avatar the Airbender, the last Airbender. And that's not any less far-fetched. Good morning, Pamela. I already pushed your button, so I'm not going to push your button again. It's the little things like that that bring me joy.
Okay, so she never saw Titanic. They all die anyway.
Right? My grandfather tried to warn people about the Titanic. He ran around telling people all day. They wouldn't let him back in the theater, though. Yeah. You know that's funny. The other thing, these things have the quaking aspens have what are known as petiole leaves, which are really thin, flat leaf stems with really thin, lightweight leaves on them, and they shimmer. They shimmer in the breeze, and it helps keep them cool. The thinking is that it helps keep them cool, and that in doing so, it helps with the photosynthesis. I'm not real sure what heat has to do with photosynthesis. When I read that, all I could think was, how does that affect photosynthesis? Because cactuses have no problems photosynthesizing, and pine trees have no problems photosynthesizing, and those are two extreme temperatures, both using chlorophyll. So I have no idea what they mean when they say that the shimmering in a quaking aspen leaf may aid photosynthesis by keeping the leaf cooler. But I do know that these things like to burn. They're in the poplar family. And because of the way they grow, when they shoot their roots out and then spring up out of the root, the soil conditions might not be the best where the tree is, but the soil conditions are really good, 400 yards away, and it's the same root structure, so the roots are shunting nutrients over 400 yards, and now the new shoot is dumping nutrients into the soil and breaking the soil down with its roots. So it may not have been the best soil for an aspen tree to grow in, but because it's a single root system, the the soil can be broken down into something useful by the whole tree. And I think that's beautiful. All right. It's time for my favorite part of the whole process. I love this part of the process. This is the part of the process that turns a bunch of lines into a dimensional drawing.
I wonder if the leaves on a real tree are in little bunches like they show in your picture.
Little clumps? I'm not real sure. That's the thing I have to remember. I'm drawing a toy. I can want to draw individual leaves and all that I want to, but this is a toy, and I have to. The whole point of the practice in the morning is to practice drawing what I see. What's the word I'm looking for? When I practice drawing what I see here, it carries over into everything else I try to do. So when I try to draw a face, I have some effort. I have some practice drawing what I see, looking for little details that make that face stand out from any other face that I might see, so that it has a likeness to what I'm trying to draw. If you practice drawing what you see, it makes it easier to draw things, to draw other things. That's the whole point of this. Every morning I practice this every morning so that I can be better all the way around. You know, I find since I've started doing this, I find I can draw from imagination better. I find I can draw, but I still struggle with things like faces. And I think that's mostly a mental block. I'm sure I've got it in my head that faces are hard to draw. And since I've told myself that faces are hard to draw, faces are difficult for me to draw. When really it's no different. You just look at the details, you copy the details, you look at the measurements, you copy the measurements. You put the moles where they go, you put the hairs where they go, and you've got the same face. Let me dry this real quick. That's enough. I was going to say subtle hint. One of the trees, and there seems to be a lot of these in North America, these are one of the trees that require fire. Fire clears the old growth. Most trees are only alive, an eighth of an inch of the way into the stem of the tree, into the trunk of the tree. The rest of the tree inside is dead, and they start to rot from the inside out and become a danger to falling and rotting. And once one tree starts rotting, that rot can easily spread to other parts of the tree, parts of the organism. And that is true. Lots of a barrel of apples has that problem. And once the rot sets in, the rot spreads. Gangrene in a body part, same thing. Once the rot sets in, it starts to spread. And so fire cleanses that away. And because the root system is underground and protected from fire, the living stuff is full of water. It doesn't burn as much as long as the natural fires are allowed to occur. it keeps the underbrush cleared away, and the fires have a the fires happen frequently enough that they don't get so hot. They don't kill the living trees. They just clear away the dead and dying trees. Much like a predator on the savannah, the fire kills off the old and the weak, the young, the old, and the weak, leaving room for only the healthiest and for regrowth. And one of the worst things that humans have done for these organisms is we have come along and we have stopped forest fires. To the point where the Scouts of America are teaching scouts that Smokey the Bear is an eco-terrorist.
Working in their office.
That's lovely.
Claudia says she is just scribbling and watercoloring about my new 30-day challenge.
That's lovely.
She tells us what it is. Rocky Room Up.
Isn't Rossi her last name?
I don't know.
Claudia, isn't Rossi your last name?
Oh, it is. Yes, you're right. You're right. This is her 30-day challenge or something. Thank you. Do you have? And then I bet Ricky's party also.
He's been watercoloring along with me. I think that's fabulous.
You know, I pulled up a picture of the aspen tree, and it's interesting. Most of them show about 95% of the photographs that they have on the internet, well, they sent me to, have it in the yellow color. If they're not green, there may be, scattered pictures of it green. I thought that was interesting.
That is interesting.
And they were not cluttered like this.
Not clumped up like this. I don't think this is one of Safari's better models. Safari usually has fantastic detailed models, but it doesn't help that this is supposed to be a whole tree, which is usually 60, 70 feet tall, and it's been compressed down to this size. So no, you're not going to see individual leaves, and you're not going to see individual branches, and you're not going to see stuff like that. But this tree and about 4 others all look almost exactly the same, because I just don't think this is one of the better model sets. Anyway, let me dry this real quick and we'll ink it. Quick favor, Mom. Look up the Pando colony. Pando, Pando, Pando. Look up the Pando colony and see where it is. I think it's Colorado, but I could be wrong. I didn't want to say the wrong place. But the Pando colony is estimated to be a single organism that is 13 million tons. Utah. Is it 13 million tons or 13 million pounds? Since you've got it pulled up.
Growing for 80,000 years.
Yeah, thousands and thousands of years it's been growing.
It has 47,000 genetically identical stems and roots.
It's estimated somewhere. I can't remember if it's 13 million, and I didn't write. How many?
6,500.
It's 13 million pounds. It's estimated at 13 million pounds.
It's 6,500, which is equivalent to 40 blue whales.
That wasn't me. I didn't do that one. That wasn't my mom. My mom didn't do that one. Whatever she read decided that anything but metric.
That's a big tree. 80,000 years. Wow. I'm trying to go see that.
I don't think if you held this tree up to that tree, I don't think that you would recognize that it's the same tree.
No, I don't think so either. They look entirely different.
I think the tree that I've drawn versus the model that I'm drawing it from, I don't think they match up.
Yeah, I'm not sure that what you're drawing is an aspen tree.
I'm not sure that the model is an aspen tree.
That's what I mean.
But it says aspen on the bottom of it, so that's what I'm running with.
Oh, there's Joe. He's got to say good morning to me breakfast.
I don't have a Joe button. How come I don't have a Joe button? I've got an Ivy button. I'm going to have to make a Joe button. Good morning, Joe.
Akia says she's just putting things in her journal that she's throwing away.
So, like, I'm getting rid of this cracked teapot set. Let me draw it or take a picture of it and put it in my journal. That's pretty cool.
She's taking a photograph of it. She's partying it.
I like that idea. What is today? Today is the 7th. Well, I mean, it's a little ball of green with a stick on it. You have no idea how hard it was to make yesterday's rail car last 30 minutes. It's the 7th of July, 2026. I could come back with my electric eraser and take back some highlights. Probably should. Ah! Throw the whole book across the room. I can tell you that the shading on that trunk didn't take like it was supposed to. So I could actually go around. I don't want to overwork it, but I could actually go around the whole tree and add some shading back in. Shading got washed off when I added the green. We're going to live with that right there. I like that right there for what we're trying to do. So, where's my mouse? There it is compared to the photograph.
Joe says, you mentioned Pando Colony. Is that the one in the park?
Yes, that's right. That's 45,000 trees, all identical, all genetically identical. 13 million pounds of one organism in Utah. So these the number one thing that people like to make with aspen trees are matchsticks. Almost every matchstick that you buy is made from an aspen tree. The Swiss Match Company specializes in matchsticks, and aspen trees are what they like to use it for. And the number one thing that is causing the decline in aspen trees is not urban sprawl, suburban sprawl like you'd think it is. It's fire suppression. It stops the fire suppression, causes, when the fires do finally break out, it causes the fires to be too hot and causes the old growth to die, and doesn't allow for the new growth to take over, cooks the new growth. And so fire suppression prevents the cleansing fires that they need to multiply, to continue to grow and spread. Why is that blurry? That's not the photograph. That's the camera's not focusing like it should. There we go. There it is from my perspective. You know, this tree, like the sequoias almost went extinct because we stopped the fire suppression. The same thing's happening with the aspens. We stop the natural fires, and it stops the breeding. It stops the reproductive cycle. What do we have tomorrow? What could it be? What could it be? Whatever could it be? Oh my goodness! I can see what it is because it's a clear glass ball or a clear plastic ball. But my problem is I did not identify it. So all I know about it is that it's a big rabbit. I can't tell you. It's a toimani, so it doesn't tell me what kind of big rabbit it is. But if anybody knows, shout it out. If anybody knows what kind of big rabbit this is, it's not supposed to be a wild hare. It looks like a wild hare, but it's not supposed to be a wild hare because these are all supposed to be domestic rabbit breeds. So it's a mystery for what it's going to be tomorrow for me. The suspense. Yeah, Claudia says the suspense. So if you recognize the breed, shout it out. Let me know. But I will know by tomorrow morning at 5:30 a.m. Texas time. So you're going to want to set your notification bell, if for no other reason, just to identify what this rabbit is. And maybe a jackrabbit. I'm not sure, Joe. It's not supposed to be a wild rabbit. It's supposed to be a domesticated rabbit, because that was the set that I bought, was domesticated rabbits. And normally I have them. You have to go on Toimani's website and scroll till you find the picture of that rabbit, and then you can see what it is. They do a good job of identifying it, but that is my only complaint about Toimani's models, is that they don't identify them in an easily found fashion. So guys, thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate you coming up and watching the show with me. I look forward to this every day when I get to art with my besties. I run down the stairs. I truly do run down the stairs every day to come down here. It holds me accountable to my art practice, and it's often the only art I get to do. Be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because when they see me dancing, I will know that the lag has caught up with the stream. I will know that I won't get cut off mid-sentence. Is today Tuesday? Today is Tuesday. Ivy will be on today from noon to 4 Central Time, 11 to 3 Eastern. Ivy will be on today, so if you get a chance, watch Ivy. But we dance until somebody says they see me dancing. It gives you a chance to click the clicky thingies this way if you're on the horizontal, or this way if you're on the vertical. Gives everybody a chance to say and hello and goodbye to each other. But Flemish giant, it might be a Flemish giant. I don't know. But the most important thing is that I don't get cut off.